Oh, there you are, YouTube. Doodle 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 do. Subscribe if you're interested, but also no pressure. But if you did, I greatly appreciate it. Hey, we are going to do a random ranking, but a very specific type of random ranking. Can it be specific and random at the same time? I think so. What we're going to do here is randomly pick movies from my horror collection, which I have placed over here to the left of me. So I got the shelf over here, old shelf, battered, tattered. I had to glue it back together to get it to stand up just yesterday, and I've put a portion of my horror collection in it. So we're gonna pick from that set of films and then rank those movies. So we are doing a horror ranking. So let's do it. Let's pick these movies randomly. Now, I didn't like alphabetize them, but like because they were alphabetized behind me, so I just sort of like, I don't know, I loosely scrambled them, but I don't know, it's in a loose alphabetical order. Basically, like this letter is still next to this letter, but there are areas where it's a little different. So let's see what we got here. Horror, horror, horror. These aren't that scary. But anyway, let's start with this one right here. Interview with the Vampire. We're talking about vampires here. We're also talking about Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and Christian Slater and Kirsten Dunst and what's his name? What's his name? Why can't I think of it? Antonio Banderas. That wasn't coming to me. But anyway, yeah, I saw this movie a little late, not right when it came out. But when I saw it, I fell in love with it. And I still really like it to this day. I feel like I understand some of the criticisms, though, people have with it, like when I'm talking with them. One thing I don't get, though, is like Brad Pitt really does not like his performance in this movie, but I think he's great. He says he's too whiny, but it's like, I mean, yeah, but I get it. That seems correct for the character. Maybe that's not correct to the book. I don't know. I haven't read the books, but it just seems to fit for me. Plus, I just really love the look of them. I think Brad Pitt and Tom just are top-notch looking vampires. The way they are designed, the way Anne Rice had them described on she wrote the books, but I guess she wrote the screenplay as well. But the way she had them described, and then the way that was adapted onto the screen, I think was just great. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this movie. I like it a lot. Okay, next we have Cloverfield. Now there's like a whole section of Cloverfield movies, right? We got this one, then 12 Cloverfield Lane, and then I think there was one that took place in space, which I did not see, and I think it dropped maybe on Netflix. I think there was like a commercial in the Super Bowl or something that was like, now on Netflix instead of the theaters or something like that. But anyway, this is the first one here. It's like a found footage movie. Lizzie Kaplan is in it. Whew, love her. Whew, love Lizzie Kaplan. Oh, there she is. Oh, beauty. Right there. But and don't we? When she goes, it's like behind like some sort of like welding tarp, isn't it? Isn't that right? Maybe it's a medical tarp of some sort. That's her character, right? I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I thought this was good. This was you know, Bad Robot. Why can't I think of his name? It is, oh, Matt Reeves. Okay, yeah, buddy. So I was trying to think of J.J. Abrams, but I forgot Matt Reeves was the one that directed this. I really like Matt Reeves. He's good. I love the what he did with the Planet of the Apes movies. Made them a little bit more, I don't know, sophisticated, I guess. Not that the other ones weren't, but there was something different about the way he handled the subject. But yeah, I really like this. Here on the back it says it's frightening, and I thought it was really cool for a found footage movie. I like the way like it all sort of like begins, like we're at this party and then just things go wild in it, and then we just follow along for the ride. So very good movie here, in my opinion. Next we have a Sweeney Todd. Right here, the Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. And I think this was a great Tim Burton movie. It's a really cool musical. I think it's great that Tim Burton has made a musical. I think it's great that Johnny Depp has made a musical. And I think it's great. The style, the way it's like stylized is just so strong, with that Tim Burton style. And yeah, overall, I am a fan of this. The one thing that I've always had trouble with is um, Sacha Baron Cohen, and that's because to me, like he was such a force as his disruption comedy or whatever that was called, like the what is that called, like improv disruption comedy? I don't know what that is, but like like Ali G and Borat and Bruno type stuff, to where that's like how I saw him. So I never really could. I had a tough time accepting him as like a regular actor in movies, because not only in this, he was also in that other musical Les Mis, right? He was in that too, and I believe I had a rough time with that film also. I think maybe around Hugo, I started to accept it. Actually, well, even I feel like Talladega Nights, he's in that movie too, and I had a little bit of a tough time because I'm like, you're Ali G, you're Borat. What are you doing here? Like you're. I just thought of him as a different type of comedian, not an actor, right? So I had a tough time, but I've gotten over that. It has been a long time since I've seen this, but I really do like it. I really like the stylization in it. So here, how do we do this? How do we rank these? Is it a Sweeney Todd as number one? I don't think so. I actually know what number one is very easily. This would have been number one had I picked most any films over here beside me. So Interview with a Vampire, for sure number one for me. I just think the very handsome Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise are great in this. Kirsten Dunst is good. Like it's just I think it's wonderful. I like it. But again, when people talk to me about their issues with it, I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. It's just doesn't bother me that much, what with some of the issues. Okay, and then Cloverfield or Sweeney Todd? I would probably rewatch Cloverfield sooner because I find it to be an easier watch, but I just think all of the artistry, not saying this doesn't have artistry because the choreography and everything, I think is great. All the movements that we have that were grabbed within the camera to make it appear to be found footage was really strong. Like Cloverfield is great, but I think Tim Burton's artistry here in Sweeney Todd is like masterful level. He just does so well with that movie, and I think it's one of his most recent films that I've loved. I like a lot. I don't even know if I love it, but I like it a lot. So I think I'm gonna have to put that as second. Also, I think it's really cool just that Johnny Depp is in a musical. I mean, it makes sense. He's in a band, but I also think it's really cool that Tim Burton made a musical. I just it feels like him spreading his wings, stretching himself as an artist, and I always think that's cool. Same thing with Steven Spielberg when he did West Side Story. I wish it would have been something else instead of West Side Story, but I didn't like that movie actually. I didn't like it, but as an artist, it's really cool that Steven Spielberg tried that, and I think it's really great that Tim Burton went for it, and I think he did it successfully. He did it very well. Okay, so one more time, I'm going to go Interview with a Vampire, then A Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, and then Cloverfield there at the end, but I really like Cloverfield as well. So my question to you is, have you seen these movies? And if so, what do you think of them? And if you've seen all three, how would you rank them? Would you qualify these as horror adjacent? What would you do? Vampires, but it's not like it's scary. The most horrific one would probably be Cloverfield, and it's has that subgenre of found footage, right? And then like Sweeney Todd, it's more of like the visual quality, and I guess it's like a slasher murder type sort of deal. But I don't know, horror, is that the right word? I mean, I don't know. Where would you call all of these? I'm just curious. Like if we're putting them in the horror genre, like what's their subgenre? I just want to know what you call these movies. I'm interested in that sort of thing. But yeah, not only do I have horror movies over there, I have like autumn films that feel very like maybe Halloweenish. Not Halloween like Halloween like Michael Myers Halloween. I'm talking like Halloween the holiday, right? Um, just stuff that kind of gives off a nice fall vibe. Some of that's in there too. So you may be like, "What are you doing here? I thought we were doing strictly horror films." It's a mix, okay? It's a mix. But yeah, again, my question is, what do you think of these movies and how would you rank them? And what subgenre would you put them in? I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments below, and perhaps I'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.